Hi, I'm Cheryl, and this is Bill.
Howdy.
Thanks for stopping in our country kitchen. Today we're going to be preparing Crunchy Southwestern Chicken Tostadas. They've always been a favorite in our house. They're affordable to fix, they're easy, and they're fun. So I'm going to show you first our ingredients, and we're going to start with chicken strips. This is chicken breast that's been pre-cut into strips. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the chicken and we're going to boil it. And you're going to need a good size heavy-duty pan so that you have enough top room for the water to boil and not bubble over on you. Then once we get it boiled, we're going to shred it, and then we're going to put it in the skillet, and we're going to add our spices, and we're going to just fry it for just a bit to give it a little crispness. The reason we boil it first is so that we can keep the moisture in, and the tiny pieces that we shred won't get so dried out when we fry them. Okay, then after we get our meat prepared, we're going to be using beans to spread on the tostadas, and I have used beans made from scratch, which I cooked the day before in my crock pot, and I'm going to mash those up in a dish. And you can do that, or you can just get a can of refried beans in the grocery store. Either way, if you have leftover beans, this is a good recipe for using the rest of them. So after we get our beans on, then we're going to layer that with sour cream. And we are going to add chopped tomatoes and onions and grated cheese. And we're going to put that all on a tostada shell, a crunchy tostada shell, with lettuce. And just so you know, these are the shells that I'm using. Now, I'm fortunate enough to live in New Mexico, where we have a Mexican food section in our grocery store, so we probably have more variety available with this type of thing. But whatever you can find in your grocer, as long as they're crunchy corn shells, will work fine. So those are our ingredients. We've got salsa to top it off, and some of these spices we're going to be using when we do the meat. So that's about everything that we need. It's pretty simple, and let's get started. Okay, we have our cook pan here for our chicken. I have filled it about halfway with water. Remember to use a deep pan so that you've got some boil room. And then we're going to get the pan boiling with water, and we're going to add our chicken strips to the boiling water. Now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, I have about 5 or 6 chicken strips here, and I'm making enough for 2 people. So if you want to feed more than 2, then double or triple this recipe. Okay, while we're waiting for our water to boil for our chicken, we're going to go ahead and do our vegetable prep work and our cheese. Bill's going to grate the cheese for us. He's going to do that so he can put some muscle into it. And I'm going to start with the onion. I've got a white onion here. I already sliced it into half, because we don't really need a whole onion for just 2 servings. We may not even need a half. But we're just going to dice that onion up pretty small into little square dices. And then we're ready with our onion, and we're going to take that and we're going to put it on our serving plate. Then we're going to do the tomato. And I've got a Roma tomato. You can use any kind of tomato that you like. These are just really easy and quick to slice up. So I'm going to get this sliced up, and then we will add that to our vegetable platter. And you know, while you're making your platter, you might as well make it attractive, because this can be, even though it's a simple dish, it can be a very attractive dish. Get our tomato there, and we're done with that. And now we're going to do our lettuce. And I just want to say my lettuce has already been pre-prepared. It's been washed and drained, and I've taken the core out of it. Any young cooks out there, if you do not know, you don't ever want to cut your lettuce with a knife, because if you do, it will turn brown. So you just kind of take that and twist it and break it out, and then tear off your pieces. Now, if you're going to serve immediately, then you can go ahead and chop your lettuce, but only if you're going to serve immediately. But still tear it off of the head. Don't cut it off of the head, because the rest of the head will turn brown. So just get your lettuce, and you can go ahead now, and we're going to be serving this as soon as we make it. So go ahead and get your lettuce shredded. You could use a grater, but I don't like to use a grater with lettuce. I always wind up hurting myself. So again, there's only 2 of us, so we're just going to make enough for 2 servings. And I guess that about wraps up our condiments. Well, our veggies and cheese.
Okay, so now we're going to prepare the beans, and as you heard earlier, these are beans that were cooked yesterday, and this is what was left over, and it's a good thing to do with leftover beans. And I'm going to mash them up with this, and I got a little water here. You know, as you go, you might need to add water. You may not, it depends. And when you get through with them, you can either heat them in a skillet, which I prefer personally, or you can heat them in the microwave, either way. But you want them to be a little bit runny, not real runny, because you got to spread them on the tostadas first. They're the first thing that goes on, and the tostadas are fairly fragile, so if you're having to push real hard while you're spreading them on, then you're just going to break your tostada, and you don't want to do that. So these look like they have plenty of water in them, but just in case, you keep some there handy. These are looking good. And don't forget, I mean, you don't have to do this. You can just go grab you a can of refried beans at the grocery store. Works just as well. We just had these left over, and we'll do an episode actually soon on beans, on cooking beans in a crock pot. There's a lot of really good spices in here at all, you know, so I think that's probably good enough. And now they're ready to be heated, either in a skillet or just right here in the bowl into the microwave, whatever you prefer. Okay.
Okay, we're coming in with our chicken. It's just now done boiling, and it's been about 20 minutes. So you want to boil it until it gets to the point that it's tender enough that you can pull it apart with a fork, and clearly this is tender enough. It's falling apart as I take it out. So I'm going to remove all the chicken now from the pan, and be real careful because this is really hot boiling water, and could really burn and hurt. That's it, and now we're going to let our chicken cool, and then we will proceed to the shredding. Okay, we're ready to shred our chicken. It's cooled, it's been boiled, and now it's cooled, and it's to the point that it's tender enough that you can just pull it apart. You might want to use a fork for sanitary purposes, but it's really easy to use your fingers, so whatever works for you. Sometimes though you can pull it apart even tinier with the fork, so just whatever you like, because some people, like my husband, I know, like larger chunks of chicken. I like mine really tiny, so it's just a matter of preference, and we're going to get started now and get this chicken shredded. I did want to add, see now this piece has fat on it, and we don't want that. We don't want to use any of that fat. So, and that's rare in chicken, but if you do come across some, you know, it's kind of gristly, so just put that to the side, you know. We don't want to use anything that's chewy or fatty or gristly. Normally tostadas are made, you know, as you probably know, with ground beef, but we're doing Southwestern tostadas. So we're going to use chicken, and then we're going to mix the chicken with the chicken fajita mix, and also the green chilies. Ours are grown here in New Mexico, and so we're going to be using New Mexico green chilies, and all of those things combined will give the tostadas that Southwest flavor that we're looking for. Okay, now we've got our chicken shredded, and we're ready to put it into the skillet. Incidentally, you may have heard our dogs barking. It's dinner time, and they know I'm in here cooking. And they're as anxious as we are to get to these tostadas. So first I'm going to add just some olive oil to my skillet. You can use whatever oil you generally use. I just put a little shake, enough to wet the bottom of the skillet. You really don't want to even cover it, because then the chicken will start to fry like hard, like fried chicken, and we don't want that. We just it's more kind of a saute. So I'm going to add my chicken now to the oil. Then I'm going to coat it before I season the chicken. Make sure that all the chicken's got oil on it, so that it'll hold the spices when I add those in. Okay, I'm just going to kind of get it all into a single layer so that we can saturate it with the spices. And we've got the chicken fajita mix. This is a really basic mix. It includes salt, pepper, garlic, and onion. And actually, I think we might take an episode and make our own, because this sounds really fun and easy. So I saturated the chicken with the fajita mix, and I'm going to add some crushed red pepper just to give it a little bit of a spicy flavor to it, depending on how hot you like things, how much you want to add. I've got my mild green chilies. You might like hot green chilies. These are mild. So now I'm just going to stir those in, and I've got the juice here too that'll give enough liquid to make, just like I said, a little bit of sauce for sauteing. Whoops, there's a red one. I don't know if we want that in there. Okay, we've added our chilies and our red pepper and our fajita mix and our olive oil, so now we're ready to cook. Okay, now while our meat is cooking in the skillet, we're heating up our beans in another skillet, and we've got our oven heating up because we're going to go ahead and warm our tostada shells. Sometimes you have to dig through the package, sometimes they're broken or pieces missing, so that one's got not much missing. I don't know, how many do you want, Bill? 3?
3. Sure.
Okay. We're kind of hungry, so we'll have 3 each, and I might just throw in an extra one in case someone wants a little more. And just put those on your baking pan, and they're going to go in the oven at 325 for 5 minutes. Just long enough to heat them and get them good and crispy.
Okay, we've got our beans ready here. They're nice and refried. I want to put them into a bowl here. And you can hear the chicken frying over there in the skillet as we speak. And we'll have that over here in a moment. There we go. Okay. Okay, we've got our chicken ready. It's nice and sizzly chicken fajita meat. And I'll get that into a serving dish. And then we will be ready to make our tostadas. Okay.
Okay, we're ready to make our tostadas. Our chicken is done, and I want to let you know I cooked it for about 10 minutes in the skillet on a medium, over medium heat, so that it could just saute but get a little crispy. Our beans are ready, and we're going to take a tostada shell now. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to spread our beans gently onto the shell because, as Bill mentioned, these shells are very fragile. So just want to spread your beans around. Real easy there. And then the next thing is going to be your sour cream. Whoops. That happens. Tostadas are messy, just like tacos. Okay, we're going to spread the sour cream around. Then we're going to move to our chicken and get some chicken and green chilies on there. And spread that out nicely. And then depending on what you like, just go ahead and start adding your veggies. You got onions, we've got tomatoes, put some lettuce on top, and a little bit of cheese. And we're going to top that all off with some New Mexico homemade salsa, which I think we'll do an episode on that as well. And there we go. Crunchy Southwestern Chicken Tostada. Bill, you want to let us know what you think?
Sure.
Got our guinea pig here, and there you go.
Excellent. Excellent.
Okay, I don't know about you folks at home, but we're going to have dinner. Tostadas are waiting. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time in our country kitchen.